It is the most confusing product there could be. Now, I didn't know anything about life insurance at all. As a matter of fact, the only time I even thought about life insurance when I did get married and I had a young son and I had a wife and I had a house. I'm like, I need to get life insurance because something happens to me. I want them taken care of, right? And then I went to the my auto insurance guy because I thought that's where you're supposed to get it from, right? I didn't know any better. And he said, well, we got another guy who does that. He came and he sold me. I said, I need $1 million plan. I need $1 million. You know why? Because I'm a guy and we say we need a lot more than we really think we need. I love when people do that to me. I would like $1 million. Really? Where'd you get that number from? Just out there? We think we can become financially secure by just guessing. But that's what I said. I'm telling you these stories because I've been there. I'm not saying I did not, come into this world understanding any of this stuff at all. As a matter of fact, my family, we have five. There's 5 of us. 2 older sisters, 2 younger brothers. All right, and I'm the middle child, and that's why I need attention, a lot of it, because they played together, and I had to. But my dad didn't have life insurance his life. He's still alive, thankfully. But during that time, if something had happened, he's the breadwinner, we would have been financially devastated. He took a bet that I don't like that he took over that time. That would have devastated my mom. No, once I knew about it, I held him down like, you need to get this taken care of, right? See, people don't want to talk about stuff that's uncomfortable. I've gone across this before. I talked to somebody and they said, well, I mean, in their mind, you can just see it. Well, if I get this life insurance, I'm going to die. You're going to die either way. Pretty guaranteed, right? Pretty guaranteed that you're going to die either way. So, but there are different types. There are all kinds of different types, and most people didn't know that, and I didn't know that. So when I went in there and I said I would like life insurance at like $1 million, he said, well, he ran some. You probably just need $500,000. Ran some numbers, and it was like $320 a month, something like that. $300. Now I said, this is me. I said, I love my family a whole lot, but not a car payment enough. Because me, $300 a car payment. I'm like, I love them. I made 2 payments, and then I said, you know what? I love them, but maybe we need to make $300 before we start putting it away. Okay? But again, I bought it as life insurance. I didn't realize he had sold me something that made him a lot of money, didn't really protect me, and it hurt me. Now, this is about 10 years later, I have life insurance. Okay? About 10, 12 years later, I have life insurance, right? I'm paying $50 a month for $500,000 worth of coverage. And now, y'all know 10 years later, if anybody has any understanding of life insurance, the older you get, it's supposed to cost more, right? So how did 10 years ago I was paying $320 and today I spend $50 for the same amount of coverage? His commission is different. And the type of life insurance he sold me was different. Now, would you rather spend $300 or $50? You know the difference in those 2 numbers? Knowledge. Because if I had asked the questions that I knew to ask back then, he would have sold me something different versus selling me something at $300. It put money in his pocket, took a lot out of mine. Okay, I don't mind spending $50 for $500,000. You know what I mean? I love them that. See, I didn't love them $300, but I love them $50. They get into 75, 100. And I don't know. I don't know if I like them that much. All right. So I'm going to explain to you. Did y'all who did not know there's different types of life insurance? Who did not know that? Because I didn't when I first got. I had no clue about this. Okay, I had no idea. Right. You buy it. You pass away. They pay your family. Right. I had no clue until I got into this industry. I did not realize there's life insurance that put money into the agent's pocket and puts money into the life insurance company's pocket. And there's life insurance that protects your family. I didn't even realize that at all. Okay? So, now, these are the 5 main types of life insurance. There's term, return of premium, whole life, universal life, variable universal life. Y'all heard any of those before? Those terms before? Yeah. Term, return of premium, whole life, universal life, variable universal life. I'm going to move this if that's okay, because I'm going to worry about it. term, return of premium. It's going to be interactive today, okay? So y'all tell me, if you have the choice, only one of these is best for 90 to 95% of people. Because, by the way, nothing's all evil and nothing's all good, all right? Well, nothing on this earth is all evil and nothing on this earth is all good. So for 90 to 95% of people, what would you guess is the best for 90 to 95% of people? Term? Anybody else going to guess? The one you know? Okay. Y'all are right. 90 to 95% of people is term. Okay? And we'll discuss what they all are, and I'll discuss where the other ones actually come into effect. All right? So here's what term life is. So here's why you get term life. Okay, you right? How old is she? She's 2. Okay. Right now, this is how I normally talk about life insurance when I talk about term life. Okay. Let's say 30 years from now. Today is today, and then 30 years from now, would you have some money saved? You know, would you be putting away money for about 30 years and be able to collect? She's being honest. No. If you learned how to save money, would you start putting it away? Okay. All right. 30 years from now, will your debt be lower? Will you, like, I don't know if you own a house, but if you were learning how to pay down debt, would you pay down debt and get your house to be paid off or close to paid off or something like that? 30 years from now, will she be living at home? Okay. See, every time I say that, parents aren't always sure about the first two, but the third one, no. She better not. I've already got it on my calendar circled, 18 in one day. But it's true. I mean, that's how I feel too, right? 30 years from now, today you need life insurance because if something happened to you, you've got low savings, and that's just most people. You have low savings, you've got debt, and you got at least one young child. Okay, so you need life insurance because think about this: the reason people get insurance is because they don't have cash. If your person had $500,000 worth of cash, you don't need $500,000 worth of life insurance. Make sense? But as it goes up later on, see this 30 years from now, young kids, large mortgage, high debt, small savings. Later on, this doesn't show well, low debt, older children, smaller mortgage, bigger savings. So you go from there to there and from there to there. So 30 years down the line, you have less debt, less mortgage, more savings, older kids. So you don't need as much life insurance or any at all. Because again, if you have, $250,000 worth of cash, you don't need $250,000 worth of life insurance. If you have $100,000 worth of cash, you don't need $100,000 worth of life insurance. We get it to offset the fact we don't have the cash. Make sense? Okay. It's called the law of diminishing responsibility. Okay. See, at 16, and I'm saying for my son too, at 16, she asked, I need, like the pastor was saying earlier, if I need something, we're like, okay. At 5 is easier, okay, here you go. It's also less expensive. At 16, it becomes more expensive what they want. We're like, okay. At 26, we're like, you can get a job. It's not my job to take care of you all the time, right? So you either have low cash or a lot of life insurance. Or you can have a lot of cash and a little bit of life insurance. That makes sense? Because it's guaranteed we're all going to pass away, okay, except for me because I figured it out, okay? And it's a secret. I can't tell nobody else. Before I go into, I like to show videos from other places because I want people to hear it from other sources. See, I see stuff all the time in news articles or on the internet or videos and stuff like that. I want other people to see it different, hear it and see it different ways and not just hear it from me. So here's a video explaining. Sorry. When calculating life insurance, marital status, dependents, earnings of each spouse, how much time you have left to work, and debt. So it would be wise to consult a trusted financial planner before making a decision. The main thing to keep in mind is the amount of life insurance must be enough to replace the earnings power of the deceased for those that depend on them. Buying life insurance doesn't make sense
chance for everyone. If you have no dependents and no assets to cover your debts and the cost of dying, funeral, estate lawyers' fees, etc., then insurance is an unnecessary cost for you. If you do have dependents, but you have enough assets to provide for them after your death, investments, trusts, etc., then you do not need life insurance. However, if you have dependents, especially if you are the primary provider, or significant debts that outweigh your assets, then you likely will need insurance so that your dependents are looked after if something happens to you. Let's imagine a simplified example of replacement income. Amy earns $50,000 per year and is the sole earner for her husband Bob and child, and they have no debts. If Amy passed away, the household income would go to zero. Bob would then need to find a job and take care of his child. So to replace most of her income and leave her family provided for, Amy would need about $750,000 in life insurance. That money could be invested at around 5% and drawn down monthly over 30 years. So Bob could have about $45,000 per year income. Add $10,000 for funeral costs and with adjustment for inflation, and Amy needs approximately $900,000 to $975,000 of insurance on herself. Every situation will be different. For example, Bob could find a job in a couple of years, or their child might need more money for college. These unique situations require the advice of a registered financial planner who can make sure your needs are accounted for. They can calculate an estimate of what coverage you need and can speculate on potential interest rates, taxes, and inflation.
So also I wanted to mention earlier, here's a huge reason why this life insurance is important, okay? Because people want to talk about the stuff that's fun, like investing money and saving and all this other, the fun stuff. But if you're not, if one or the other or anybody passes away, the one bringing in the money, then all that savings and all that other stuff doesn't matter anymore. And I don't know if I told y'all this story before, but I do want y'all to hear this. When I first got in the industry, they said all the stuff that you're going to learn, that nothing's going to affect you more than when you pay your first life claim. Okay, you're going to learn about investings and getting out of debt and all this mortgages and all this other stuff. Nothing's going to affect you more that first time you pay a life insurance death benefit. Well, fortunately, I've not had to pay one out yet. Okay, everyone who has life insurance through myself or my school or my office have not passed away. So that's another reason you should get life insurance through me. That way you live forever. Okay, but about 3 or 4 months ago, I was affected in a different way. I had a good friend of mine a really, really good friend of mine, who they were young and they just got married and everything. And I took care of his emergency fund. I took care of him saving money and getting out of debt and buying a home and all this other stuff. I just never really got around to talking about the life insurance. I even thought about it. I mean, we went to lunch every week. And I thought about it, I should talk about it. And then I mentioned to him. He's like, yeah, we'll get around to it. And it was just, friend stuff. Oh, yeah, we'll get around to it. We'll do it eventually. Not a big deal. We'll get around to it. His wife passed away 4 months ago. Okay? No life insurance. Now, like I said, it's a good thing we put some money away here and there, but he's affected financially. She got cancer, and it's about a year or so later she passed away. I feel horrible. I feel like I didn't do the right thing. I saved all this other stuff for him, and now they were having to use some of that money to pay off things, and they've gone to one income, and so it's an important thing. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's extremely important to do because we're all going to go through it. Like it or not, we're all going to go through it. So you might as well take care of it and not have to worry. Okay. But let me go back to. All right. So like I said, term is the best for 90 to 95% of people. Term is the best thing to get. All right. Hands down. But there is also return of premium. Now, normally return of premium is used for a person that is normally us younger guys. I will say always us younger guys, not because we're any different, but because we're hard-headed. Only time I've ever had a person buy return of premium because it's a young guy who's never going to die. We're just at 20, we are never going to. You know that, right? We're never going to die at 20. And they'll have, the only time I've ever sold it is a person is, like I said, a young guy. He's got a young kid. I'm going over everything with him. He goes, you know what? I don't need life. I'm going to spend all that money on life insurance. I'm not going to die. I said, tell you what, if we do the same money for life insurance, you get the money back. Would you be happy? No, that I like hearing. Same three guys. Different, they all said the same. Yeah, I like to hear that. I'm going to get my money back. So return of premium means they're going to pay, you're going to make your payments. And at the end of the 30 years, if you're still alive, they're going to give you all your premiums back. Every dime you spent. Okay? So, and it's a good way to say, hey, and it's tax free. You get it back. All right? So this is how it works. Imagine getting the money back and guaranteed on your term life insurance. Coverage when you need it, money back when you don't. So you've lived 30 years. Every dime you spend into it. Let's say it's $50 like my own. $50 or $600 a year, 600 times 30, whatever that number is. That's why we have calculators. I would get every dime of it back. Now, but it's a bet. Okay, what you're doing is placing a bet. It's a level term policy is purchased usually for 30 years. If the policyholder makes it through the 3 decades, the insurer pays back the premium and payments tax-free because whatever you spend in, they're giving back, so there's no taxes on it. So the premium cost is 0. However, the premiums are 30 to 40% higher than the regular term policies. So you're placing a bet. If you die before the 30 years is up, you lost the extra money that you put into it. Make sense? Yes, ma'am. You do get the insurance. Correct. Correct. So let's use my example again. I have term insurance. I just regular term insurance. So if I said I got $50, it would have been something around $70 for if I got return of premium. Now at the end of the 30 years, I would have got 70 times 12 times 30. I would have got all that money back. But if I died in 29 years, I would get the life insurance. I get the $500,000 worth of life insurance, but I would have lost the extra money that I spent towards that. Make sense? So that's why, again, that young guy who's 20, who's got young kids, I go over and he goes, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to live 30 years anyway. So I'm like, as long as you're covered, because you're a knucklehead, and if you don't get covered, then you're going to have problems. Okay. Speaking of that, I would rather people have bad life insurance than no life insurance at all. Okay. Now the next 3 we're going to talk about are the fun ones. All right. But I'd rather people have bad life insurance than no life insurance at all. And as I go through this, I also say this. Anybody got any of these other 3, don't feel bad. You did the right thing by getting life insurance. The guy or girl who sold it to you did wrong by selling you it, okay? And let me show you how easy it is. Yes, ma'am. Group life insurance. Mm-hmm. It is worse than the ones I'm talking about here. As a matter of fact, in my classes, it's a separate class just to explain that. But since you brought it, I do want to explain it to you. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Are you still with that company? Okay. What group life insurance it is owned by the company. It's not owned by you. As a matter of fact, if you go to them, you say, "Hey, I would like my policy for my life insurance." They will give you a sheet of paper saying that you're an employee of the company. That is it. Nothing more, because it's not your policy, it's their policy. It doesn't pay out. Okay? Because as long as you're an employee of the company, it can pay out. But if you're no longer an employee of the company, it doesn't pay out. Now, do most people get hit by a bus and they die instantly? Or are they sick for a while in the hospital and then they pass away? What do most people do? Despite the fact they're sick for a while, despite the fact everybody thinks they're going to get hit by a bus, because every time they explain, oh yeah, I might get hit by a bus. I'm like, how many buses do you see going around? You're not getting hit by a bus, all right? You're probably going to have a heart attack. I'm sorry. There's actually, in that class, there's 10 other ways of passing away first before you get to a bus. But if you're in the hospital and you're on disability through the company, you're on short-term or long-term disability for the company, you're not an employee of the company anymore. So when you pass away, they don't pay that claim, because you have to be an employee of the company to be able to collect on the claim, first of all. Second of all, they own the policy, so they don't have to pay it out. It is absolutely a waste of money. Anything they give you free, take it, but don't pay extra for it. And we'll probably have time. I'll gladly go and show you articles through Richmond Times-Dispatch here where people depended on group coverage. They passed away. Nothing was paid to them. And they lost in court because they take them to court, right? They lost in court. And the companies were like, well, sorry, because they don't have to pay it. It's not your policy. You don't have to pay it. Make sense? So you always want to have coverage on your own, that you actually have a policy in your hand that's my policy, okay? Yes, ma'am. No, as a matter of fact, it's not even group life insurance is horrible for the company itself. They're paying extra money to stuff they don't even need. There's no one's ever going to claim. I'll go to because I'll do benefits for a company. I'll go like, you group life insurance for them is dumb, and for you is dumb. Correct. And I'm glad you're saying it like that, because I have a license, okay? I am an agent of life insurance, all right? I have a license. I get paid by life insurance companies and financial I get paid for them. I don't like them, okay? They are there for the reason they're supposed to be there, and that's it. But you're right. A lot of them think about the life insurance company and the agent selling it, all right? I'm the guy in the behind going, hey, this is how it really works. So it's exactly right. They're thinking when it's sold to the group coverage, group life insurance is sold to the company, it's great for the guy selling it, and it's great for the company. It is horrible for the company because all they're doing is paying for something that's never going to be used. You got to be killed. Yes. How many? Y'all have worked a couple of different places. How many people died on the job? Did he had a heart attack and died right there? Did he get paid out? Did his life insurance get paid out? Because they don't have to file a claim at all. They own it. They don't. And here's why they wouldn't file a claim. If they file a claim, what happens to their rates next year? Goes up. So if you're the company and you're held with the choice of don't have to file a claim because we don't have to. We legally do not have to. Or we can file the claim and our rates will go up next year. Which one are they going to do? They don't have to. They legally don't have to. The people have taken them to court and they lose every time. Because it's not their policy. It's not your policy, it's the company's policy. All right? Say it this way. The gentleman that I'm speaking of, she had group life insurance. Didn't pay out. Allie said that she's like, these are because she was there when all we're going. She's good friends with him too, and she's like, this is one of those times that I wish you were wrong, Larry. You know, she's like, I wish you were wrong, but you're not. You know, or at that time she knows it. She I wish we were wrong. But the problem is we've seen the other end of scenarios. People go, well, what about this? What about this? And we see the other end of scenarios. And I'm trying to save people before. Again, I love the fact you point out you got a lot of sons and daughters, because that's what I feel. I got one son, got a lot of sons and daughters. And what we try and do to our kids is we try and tell them, give them experience before they have the experience, don't we? Don't touch that because it's hot. Don't date him because he's a horrible person. We try and give them the extra. I got her on that one. She was trying not to. She was trying to hold back. Oh, he got me on that one. But that's what we try and do. We try and give them our experience. That's all I'm trying to do is give you my experience, okay, on the stuff that I've seen on the other end where people don't listen to what I'm telling them. They do something else, and then they're in a bad situation. So like I said, you're placing a bet for 30 years. You get your money back. If you lose the extra money that you spent. You have those two choices, okay? Not bad, but at least you get your money back, right? Okay. Here's whole life. Now, whole life used to be what every company sold. They had other stuff, but they sold whole life. Yes, ma'am. You asked me as many questions. Don't apologize. No, 30 years. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. They'll give you the cash. But the insurance is now done. Correct. You can get new insurance. Correct. Yes. That's why term is better. That's why the only time I've ever someone return a premium because it's the 20-year-old who's got young kids who's never going to die. And he goes, that makes sense. I'd rather them have that than nothing at all. Make sense? Okay. But yes, your life insurance is done then. You'd have to get a new policy. Whole life insurance. Now, this is what they used to sell all the time. There wasn't anything, at least I give people credit for this. Now people don't have any life insurance. At least back in the day, they had this. Even though it was horrible, they had it. Okay? The whole life. This is what's fun about whole life. Okay, so I'm going to say I got a bank, all right? And at that bank, it's called the Bank of Horsey because it's my last name. It's the Bank of Horsey, all right? So at the Bank of Horsey, for the first 2 years when you're putting money into that savings account, you lose all the money. Every dollar you put $100 in, you lose it. You put $200 in, you lose it. I keep the money, all right? How you feel about my bank so far? Horrible bank, right? Okay, that's okay. It gets better. For the first couple of years, you earn 2 to 5% annually, all right? I mean, you're only going to get like a 1% at a savings account. I'm going to give you 2 to 5%. You feel good about that? How about y'all know that you can get 6, 10, 12%? Again, it's knowledge. If you know it's there, then you get to use it. See, if I show most people 2 to 5, they go amazing. But if they've seen the rule of 72 I showed before, they go 6, 8, 10, 12. I can get that. Why would I go 2 to 5%? All right. Now, if you get the money out, you can get the money out, but you have to borrow it at about 6 to 8%. And you pay me that. You don't pay yourself that. How you feel about that so far? No? Okay. So you've been putting $200 away every month into your savings account, all right? This is fictional, by the way, okay? You put $200 every month into your savings account, all right? And let's say 3 years later, you say, I would like $1,000 out of that account. I said, not a problem. You can borrow it out at 6 to 8%, all right? You're borrowing your own money, exactly. And if you die, you know how when people die, family starts fighting over things, I want to ring it. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to keep all the money that you've been putting in your savings account. So you don't have to, plus I've been giving you lollipops for years. So I'm going to keep all the money in your savings account, and I'll just keep it. How about that? How you feel about my bank? Is it a good bank? Okay. What would you do if you put your money in a bank like that? They feel like they're stealing, right? That's exactly how whole life works. That's exactly how whole life works. And what I love about what I do, again, I've had a couple different experiences this week. The gentleman, I won't say the name of the company he was at because I don't want to make Northwest Mutual feel bad, but that's what they do, okay? This is what they sell, and they feel good about it. And when I asked him questions like, he said, well, he drew up on my own board. Let me show you how it works. He like, for the first 7 years, I said, well, how about year 2? Would I be able to get any money out of there? No, well, no, not for the first 2 years, but I gave you money. Why am I? And then later on, he's like, well, you can borrow it out. Great. How, I get it free? No, you got to pay like 6% or something. Well, it's my money. Why am I borrowing my money out? Well, listen, if you're not going to listen to me, oh, no. If I'm not going to follow your path because I already have knowledge, then there's a problem. See, if you don't know to ask these questions, they're going to just sell you anything. Make sense? On top of that, I had a great, about a week or so ago. I love doing this. I love it, love it, love it. If you have any of these policies, I'd love to do it. We will call up the company. And I call them right up. I put them on speakerphone and say, hey, I'm a friend of this family, and they make sure it's okay for me to talk to them and everything. And I ask them questions. I ask them these questions, and I go through it. And this is literally, I did this twice in the last week. All right. Well, I don't want to let the people know the names of the company because New York Life or Monumental Life would get upset. So I don't want to, the names of the company. So remember, you did not hear me say Northwest Mutual, New York Life, and Monumental Life. Okay. You didn't hear me say that. All right. And it's not being recorded too at the same time. All right. So I called up New York Life for one person, and I called up Monumental Life for the other one. And I asked them, hey, she has this what's called cash value. You ever heard that before? Cash value in there, which is their savings account. I said, if she passed away today, who gets the cash value? The company. I'm like, what company? The insurance company. Well, why doesn't it go to her family? Well, we've been giving her, interest this whole time. Right. So why can't she have it? Well, it's the one Monumental Life. No, New York Life said, well, we've got to pay our bills too, electric and stuff. And the lady was like, after the conversation, she said, I cannot believe they sat there and said, they got to pay their electric so they get to keep my money. I'm like, hey, I don't want them to hear it just from me. I want to hear it from their own company. I love making that call. I'm like, so I'm sorry. And I always act stupid. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't understand. So she's been paying extra, right? Yes, it's for a buffer. It's a buffer. So if she doesn't make a payment, then we can take that money out and use it. Oh, okay, that's great. So correct. And New York Life people, I said, okay, so they were actually giving them 5%, and the loan was going to be 7%. I said, okay, that's a 2% difference, right? So yeah. She says that's the business side of things. I'm like, oh, the business side of things. I would think they deserve their money. Well, it's all in the contract. It's all in their policy. I said, I know, but they're very confusing to read. Yeah, we make them confusing. I'm like, so I don't I honestly don't feel completely bad for the person who signs the stuff without reading their policy and not without knowing what this is. But they make them confusing for a reason. See, if you don't have the knowledge, you can be taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 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 Watch this. That's a perfect lead in. Watch this. Okay. Y'all know which life insurance do I like the most? Term, right? Watch me sell whole life to you. Okay. Would you rather own your home or rent your home? If you had the choice, would you rather own your home or rent your home? You rather own your home, right? You rather own it and pay it off and have it yourself, right? Rather than rent your home, right? Would you rather own your life insurance or rent your life insurance? You rather own it. See, with temporary insurance, you get to only have it for a certain term, okay, which is renting it. With permanent insurance, which is whole life, and that's how they say it too, permanent. I say there's nothing permanent about it. Not a thing is permanent about it. I even go like this. There's a butterfly is neither butter nor fly, but you can still call it a butterfly. Just because you call it permanent doesn't make it permanent. This is normally when Allie goes, Larry, you need to, because I'm fussing, okay, because they're ripping people off. So wouldn't you rather own your permanent life insurance than your temporary term? How many of y'all would have signed up? Especially if I never showed you the term. If I only showed you the price. See, I've got to sell you on the price, not the amount of coverage. That's the other thing. You know, they sell it like this. How much life insurance can you afford? And you tell them a monthly rate. All they have to find is that monthly rate that fits into their policy. They're not even caring about how much your coverage is. They can sell you $2,000 worth of life insurance for $20 as long as it fits into your budget. You're buying it. That's what they're doing. They don't say how much coverage do you need. Okay. They say how much can you afford every month, and we'll fit that into your budget, and then we've sold it, and then we're going on to the next person. You see how you can? Hey, would you like to have a college plan for your son? Would you like to be able to put, $1 a month away and be able to have a college plan for your son? That'd be good, right? And even if, and we've got it backed by this large Gerber company, would you like to have that? It's a whole life policy. Y'all seen those commercials where the young couple sitting around and they say, we saved for it. It's a college savings plan. And then the lady goes, and it's also a life insurance. And every single time I'm like, it's a life insurance policy. It's not a college savings plan. And for them to say it's a college savings plan, they should be arrested because it's not a college. Life insurance is not an investment. It never should be. As a matter of fact, when you take the test, they say it in there. It's not an investment product. Do not sell it as an investment product. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's an investment. Mm-hmm. Again, the Northwest Mutual guy sat there and he said these things over, and I said, you know what? I have sat down with like 10 or 12 different Northwest Mutual guys, and y'all all say the same thing. I said, have any of y'all looked it up? No, I said, where? He gave me a stat. I said, where'd you get that stat from? You got it from the other Northwest Mutual guys, right? You didn't look it up yourself. He said, no, I got it. Well, I mean, a lot of them say it there. Just because they say it doesn't make it true. I said, I actually looked up the stat you're talking about, and it's not the truth. I know exactly. He got it from LIMRA, which is our life insurance, blah, 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 for all life insurance. I said, it's not true. He said, well, just because all you have to do is regurgitate the same thing over and over and over and over, and sooner or later people just pick it up, and the next person, and the next person, and the next person says it. I'll give you a great story. Have you ever heard of they did this experiment on like different monkeys, right? They put 3 monkeys in the room and a pole with a banana at the top, okay? And every time the monkeys try to go up there, they spray them with water. And so they run back down. And they try to go up again, they spray them with water, run back down. And they took one of the monkeys out and put a new monkey in. And that monkey started to go up the pole, and the other 2 grabbed them and pulled them down because he was expecting to be sprayed. They stopped spraying them. And so they took out the other one, one of the ones that had been sprayed before, took that out, put in one that was in. And so they'd run up, and the other ones would pull them down. And sooner or later, they had no monkeys that had ever been sprayed in that cage, and they were still not allowing new monkeys to go down. All they knew is whatever the last one had said. They didn't do it themselves. They were too scared to even worry about doing it themselves because somebody else had told them don't do it. So they spout out all these stats and all these things, and I'm like, have you ever looked it up? Have you looked it up for yourself, or are you just decided between what somebody else has said? So that Gerber life is whole life. And let me show you the difference. They say it's $1 a week, right? You pay $1 a week. It's $4. That's nothing, right? For like $5,000 worth of coverage, right? Do you know you can cover all your kids, all of them, for $4? And you get like $10,000 worth of coverage. So double the coverage for all the kids for $4 versus paying $4 for each of them. If you don't have the knowledge, somebody can take advantage of you and separate you from your money. Yes, ma'am. Oh, monumental. Yeah. Monumental. It's a whole life policy, isn't it? Or universal life, one of the two. Oh, yeah. You want to have fun? Let's call them up. I love talking. They're not open on the weekends, but you want to have fun? Let's call them up with your policy number and have them say it back to you. It is awesome. Oh, let me tell you this story. Again, 7 years ago, I'm just starting out. I had canceled my other life insurance because I didn't know any better, and it would cost me too much. By the way, it's a universal life policy. We'll talk about that in a minute. I cancel that policy. I get my own policy, and I go and talk to my family because that's what I want to listen. If I know where dollar gas is, I'm going to tell myself and my family, right? People I can. Okay, some friends too. I'm going to tell them, right? So I'm learning this stuff. I want to go tell other people. I talk to my family. See, people get scared about talking to their family about things. Like, they're the ones I want to protect. They can tell me, no, I don't care. I'm going to do the right thing. So I go talk to my in-laws, and I say, hey, y'all have life insurance, right? Yes. Can I see it? Because I've been told that it's not always the best thing. Oh, well, we can't find it. I said, okay, cool. I'd asked them for a couple of months. They couldn't find it. And then finally I say, you know what? You like your grandson? Oh, yeah, we love him. He's awesome. You want to see him again? Yes. Then let's see your policy. So they go, true story, they go and get this piece of paper and they give it to me. And in that one piece of paper, I look through and I'm like, this says that you're about to run out of life insurance and it's going to cancel on you and you're paying extra into all this. They're like, what? And I show it to their own piece of paper. I mean, I'm surprised by it too. Their own piece of paper. What? And she immediately looks to him and goes, you know what? You were right. He never trusted her. Trusted the guy. And for years, for 20-something years, 20, 30 years, they had been paying into this policy. Didn't know any better. As a matter of fact, they still had their daughter as a child writer on it. The daughter who was married to me. She can't be a child writer, but they didn't mind making them pay because they paid. Yeah, she's a grown woman. I called them up and I was like, hey, you owe her money back for the last 10 years. She is no longer a child. You owe her money back. Well, you don't know. Yes, I do know. I'm licensed in 3 states. You better give her money. They sent her a check. Okay? On top of that, she had what's called a waiver of premium, which means if you become disabled, they'll kick in and start paying the policy for them. That had all of a sudden stopped 3 months before she became disabled. Guess what? Because they went and talked to the insurance guy and mentioned that she was filing for disability, he took it off, so now they still had to pay. I'm like, if I ever find this guy, by the way, his name is Stuart Motley. He's and the reason that it brought it up to me is, that it came to me is because then they were like, by the way, let me finish that part of the story. After I showed them that it was wrong, they all of a sudden found this big box of information that they had all along and was afraid to give to me. Okay? Yeah. They were afraid I didn't know what I was talking about. Then I showed them in their own information, okay, and called up the companies and did everything, right? Well, they were like, you need to see this other, my brother, because he's the one who actually recommended them to everybody else in the family. So I went to the brother and I said, hey, I called him up, first of all. I called him up and said, hey, can we sit down? I just want to talk to you about your life insurance. And he's like, well, I don't know. I said, listen, I just looked at theirs, and here's what it does. And he said, mine doesn't work like that. By the way, if you ever want to tick me off, tell me how your life insurance works. Because if you're not licensed, don't tell me how it works. You know what I mean? I went through taking a test. I understand how the stuff works. It is the most boring test you'll ever study for. But I understand how it works. Don't tell me how it works. All right? But he's like, I don't think mine works like that. So I'm like, fine. I tried them. And they were like, please, please, just talk to him because he's got the same thing we got. So I go into his job. He worked at Home Depot. He couldn't get away from me. Walked right to him. I said, listen, they're asking me to talk to you. Please sit down with me. Just the next time you and your wife are the same at home, I'll come by. He's like, I don't know the next time I'll see my wife. I'm like, you don't know the next time you'll see your wife? You got to come up with a better excuse than that. He's like, all right, Friday. Come by Friday. We come by, and I love anytime, and it's always us guys, anytime we know too much, it's always like this. I go and talk to them like this. And then I start explaining stuff, and they're like, and then they see it in there, and they're like, so I took my wife with me, and she'd seen me say this all the time. I took my wife, and sure enough, he went like, I walked in the door, he threw 7 policies at me. And I shuffled them up, put them to the side, and I explained to him how his life insurance worked. And then I opened his policies and showed him in his own stuff. And sure enough, he went from this to this to this. And as soon as he went this, my wife was like, oh, my God, it does. They do that. When you're speaking in facts and you're honest and you're genuine with people, I've got nothing else to worry about. Okay? I see the other guy had done sales. I wasn't doing sales. I was educating him on stuff. And he had 7 different policies covering everybody in his family, everything. We took care of all that. I'm walking to the car afterwards. His wife walks me to the car, and she says, we were afraid you didn't know what you were talking about. We avoided you on purpose because we didn't think you knew what you were talking about. I'm so glad you did. She sees me at family function now. She goes right to me. She loves me, hugs me. They love me. Well, about a year later, he actually had a heart attack. He's still alive, but he had a heart attack, rushed to the hospital and everything. Well, I had got him a new policy. I looked at his old policy. It had happened his heart attack happened in October. His policy would have ended in August. So he wouldn't have been covered, wouldn't have known. He's actually called Stuart Motley several times, who was a friend of his, and the guy's never returned his call. Okay? So all I can do is be honest and factual. I don't have to worry about that. The person calls me, they know exactly what they got. Stuart did sales. I did education. That's the difference. Okay? He's not bothering me. All right. But that's how whole life works, okay? And I'm just telling you these stories because I've been through them, okay? That my family's no different than your family. We all knuckleheads too, okay? We think we know. I heard somebody the other day say, he said, when you realize that you don't know everything, you'll be fine. And that's hard for guys. He was a guy too. That's hard for us guys to do, to admit we don't know. And when we don't know, then we open ourselves up to learn and go as far as we want. When we think we know, then we're in trouble. So, all right. So that's how whole life works. It's like paying your cable bill double. See, my policy would be like hundreds of dollars more. It would be if I came to you and I say, tell you what, because they'll do this. Well, there's some policy you can pay more, and then once you turn 65, then you don't have to pay it anymore. Okay. Well, that's like me going to you and say, okay, your cable bill right now is $100. Let's pay you pay $300, and when you turn 65, you won't have to pay a cable bill anymore. You gonna sign up? No. But they sell it like that. Again, I know all the tricks to sell it the other way. I just would like to sleep at night, and I've got a son I tell to be a great man and do great things, and I can't do that and turn around and do wrong by people. But if you got to sell it, I can sell it to you all day, right? Isn't it? We're New York Life. We're the company you keep. We've got hundreds of years of experience. We're a solid company. You never have to worry about your life insurance not being paid. Don't fail to mention that all life insurance is always paid out. If it's your policy, it's always paid. But we ain't gonna worry about that. We're Northwest Mutual. We are a mutual company which allows we give dividends back to your policy, even though you'll never see it because it's our money once you die. See, they're selling stuff. I don't want you to be separated from your money being sold stuff. You get educated, you get what you need. Make sense? So yeah, so the death benefits here, you continue to pay, and then it gets to a point where the death benefit and how much you accumulated stay the same. And this is whole life. At age 100, then if you make it at age 100, then they'll write you a check for whatever your life insurance is for, because the money's accumulated to get to that point. So in this case, it was $1,000 in life insurance, so it accumulated to $1,000. They cut you $1,000 check, yay! Even though they ripped you off all the way along. So there's years ago, I think, oh, yeah, the cash value, it's an extra source. They actually, see, all life insurance, this is what I love to talk to you, to life insurance guys. I say, I don't like term. And they go, I don't like term. I don't, really? Because all life insurance is term policies. Every single one. All of it is a term policy. Y'all put extra stuff on it to pretend it's something else. It's all term. Yeah. Sugarcone, right. It's all term. All of it. They put extra stuff in it to make it, to put line their pockets. That's all they really did. And you know what? We fall for it. That's what also irritates me. I see people just fall for it, and then they get so, they just put their heels in and decide, this is what I've already done it. This is what I'm like, do you understand the facts say you're hurting your family? I don't care. This is what I've already decided. Whatever. Like I learned a long time ago. See, when I first started, somebody tell me no. Oh, I want to keep what I got, all this other stuff. I get hurt. I mean, I'm trying to help you. I get hurt. Okay? And someone taught me a long time ago. They said, do this. You look at that policy and go, he said, I'm going to keep my policy. I just don't understand. I'm going to keep my policy. So you look at it and you say, this is the worst policy I've ever seen. You say to yourself, this is the worst policy I've ever seen in my life, but it's just perfect for you. Because if they're going to stick their heels in and decide to hurt their own family, there's nothing I can do about it. Because I've talked to the same family members who not gotten life insurance or not done what they're supposed to do, and they passed away. I don't feel this bad. I feel bad for my friend because I had the opportunity. I started and I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I've talked to other people, done what I was supposed to do. They passed away. I'm sorry they are gone, but I did what I was supposed to do. You decided to chose another path. All right. So there's a long time ago, this guy figured this out. He figured out what the whole life companies were doing. And he went out and he decided he was going to just do the right thing. He went out and he made them, it's what's called buy term and invest the difference instead of doing whole life. Because all these companies that were selling whole life, he went and did buy term and invest the difference, right? So the insurance company said, we're going to, see, people are buying these policies, these term policies because of the price. So what they did is they created universal life and variable universal life. And that's what they sell more now because it's on the price. Whole life costs this. Term costs this, universal and variable costs in here, because they thought people were buying it because of price, not because they've been educated on what they should be getting. So this is in the middle, right? So here's how universal life, variable universal life works. It's probably what you have right now, because that's what they sell more often now, okay? So you're paying $100 into your investment, all right? Because they sell it as an investment, savings. You're going to save, and you can borrow against it, all this other stuff, right? So you pay $100, and first of all is the cost of insurance, right? So you're paying $100. There's $40 for the cost of insurance, all right? By the way, what type of insurance is that? Term. No matter what it is, it's a term policy. So there's the cost of insurance. And then they're investing it for you, so they're going to be admin fees. So now the $5. By the way, it's 5% of the $100. Not 5% of the 100 minus 40 is a 5% of the $100, even though you've already spent 40 of it. And then also, there's a percent of the premium. There's another charge they're going to give to you. So it's another 5%, which is 5% of the $100. It's them investing the money. All this is because they're investing the money for you and charging you to invest it. So you give them $100 to invest, and you're really only having $50 go into the policy. Go into the investment. So if you give me $100 to invest for you, and you only got $50 that went into the investment, would you be happy with that? Okay. But it gets better, because then 20 years later, because it's called an annual renewable term, every 10 years it gets higher. So this goes from 40 to 80, still $5, still $5. So you gave me 100, I'm investing 10 of it. How you feel about me? Just as I'm looking for Stuart Motley. So 30 years later, now $160 is the cost of the insurance. You're spending $100, right? That's a good deal. You're spending $100, costs $160. $5, $5. So you gave me $100. I need $100. I need $70 from you. Where am I going to get the $70 from? Correct. A negative $70. Where am I getting the cash value? Right. It comes out of the cash value. It starts to lower. Right. If you ever look at your policy, it'll show the cash value will go up, and then all of a sudden it'll start to go down because they're taking the money out of the cash value to pay for the policy. Guess that's exactly how it works. Those are the fun. I mean, I love making those calls. Yes, ma'am. An IRA? IRAs are good. Okay. That's an investment. Was it a 401k? Did you have it? Or a 403b? Because if you're working for the prison, it's probably a state program, which is a 403b or TSP or one of those IR or something. But is it still sitting there? You need to talk to me after class. You need to move it to where it grows for you. Yeah, you can't add to it. You unless it's a Virginia savings plan, and you can still move it. You need the education and the knowledge, and you can do whatever. They can't tell you what to do then. And you need somebody who can get on the phone, get a little deeper voice with them, and make them do what I tell them to do. Because I love having those conversations. When people, oh, I don't know if you can't give me what I need to talk to your manager. Well, no, my manager's going to tell you the same thing. Then let him tell me. Our conversation is done. I would like to speak to the next person, and we'll get what you're supposed to get. We'll get it. We'll get it for you. Let it grow. Everything will be happy. You go, look at this. Absolutely. Yeah. That's retirement and stuff like that versus life insurance, but you deserve that money, and I'll gladly help you out and get that money for you. All right. So yeah, they take it from the cash value, and then once it goes like this and goes down like this, guess what happens? Policy cancels. Done. By the way, they call this permanent insurance too. A butterfly is neither butter nor a fly. But just because you call it permanent doesn't make it permanent. And you'll get a letter like this. Your current policy funds are not sufficient to cover all monthly insurance costs due. Without an additional deposit from you, we are unable to make the required deductions to keep your policy in force. Please remember a payment of X, because it's tripled, as soon as possible. It's very important to note that if not additional contributions, your policy will be terminated. You notice there are quotes around those? You know where that came from? My mother-in-law, because my family's just as hard-headed as your family. I got her a term policy, but she said, we're going to keep this one. You know why? She didn't have to tell me. I know why. You're just starting out, and I don't want to do the wrong thing. I've been paying this time. Yeah. So let me just hold this. I'll get your stuff, but I'm also going to hold this one. I said, whatever. 6 months later, she comes with this letter from me, and she said, Larry, they canceled my policy. I told you it was going to cancel. I showed you in your own policy it was about to cancel. I told you the date, October. Welcome. She's like, give this to everybody. I actually still have the policy, the actual scanned copy of it. I'm like, so she said, let everyone know about this. And that's what I'm trying to do ever since. Let everybody know that, because she didn't know. Well, she did. She decided to still be hard-headed about it. I love her, but she's trying to be hard-headed. And so she watched it go down. And she also said, hey, they said I got a loan in this, that we borrowed like $6,000 from it. And so she's like, I never borrowed $6,000 from it. I said, do you borrow anything? Yeah, we borrowed $1,000. Guess what they started doing with the interest? Interest grew because they weren't paying it, because they were told you don't got to pay it back, because you don't have to pay it back. But they'll start taking it away from the cash value. So now she has a $6,000 loan, and then it eats it away even faster, which, like I said, they got a letter every month explaining that. She didn't understand it. I was able to explain it to her. That's why I knew it was going to cancel in October. She came to that letter saying, hey, your policy will terminate. You don't have the education. You don't have the knowledge. People separate you from your money. So she spent all that time, all that money on everything, and it wasn't what she thought it was. She's now covered like she's supposed to be, and now she doesn't have anything to worry about. Make sense? So universal life is whole life with flexible premiums. Like I said, they built it once. They found out that they thought people were buying it just for the price. They're not. They're buying it because they had knowledge and started doing something different. If a premium payment is missed, the amount will deduct from the cash value. Policy is built in the annual renewable term policy. Oh, again, let me sell this to you. See, again, if you don't, people can sell you stuff if you don't have the knowledge already. All right, watch this. If you pay your universal life policy, you're paying $1,400 into it, okay, for your first year. You have $250,000 worth of coverage, all right, and that $1,400 grew because it's an investment. It grew to $1,450 in that first year, okay, and if you die, you will get $250,000. All right, so you spent $1,400 and you got $250,000. That is a 17,757% return. You gonna get that at a bank? We just gave you a almost $18,000% rate of return. Isn't that awesome? You want to sign up for my life insurance? Isn't it great? They forget to tell you what happened to the $50 over here. Because you spent extra and you got investments. What happened to this? See, they're just concentrating. You're getting this over here. Just worry about this over here. Don't worry about here. See, if you got a term policy, because they don't explain it, you got a term policy, you spent probably $600. If you had died in the first year, you still got $250, and your family would have got the 17 more. You got more than a 17,000 rate of return, percent rate of return, and they would have gotten the extra money that you weren't spending here, and any money that you invested. It's easy to sell a person when they don't have the education and knowledge. But of course, eventually to go down, and then 45 years later, you spent all of this, all right? You spent only 14, they don't add it up, but you know, you spent 1,400, you have 157,000 in there, right? Isn't that awesome? And if you died, you got 250, and that's a 5% rate of return. Where are you going to get a guaranteed 5% of rate of return? Isn't that awesome? Don't worry about this money. You don't need that. Just that. Just that. That's how they sell you. Told you I could sell it all day if I had, you know, a bad heart, you know, trying to hurt people. So they'll show you this, and you would have signed up. You'd have said, that's awesome. Because I've been there. I've played stupid in front of people before and watched them go. I had one guy, I won't say the name of the company because, you know, I don't like to put New York Life's names out there. But but I had one guy, a new student had said she was talking to a guy who was in life insurance. And so I sat there. She said, could you just go with me? I said, sure. I was dressed in jeans that you know, so I would come in here sometime. Jeans and a T-shirt, and I just sat there and listened. I was quiet the whole time. And he explains all this stuff, and he said, let me ask you something. If you put money away into this magic box, okay, in this magic box, and in that magic box, 30 years later, has $1 million in it, does it matter what the magic box is called? He's gone through all this other stuff. He finally got to that. So if I put $200 away into this every year, and then 30 years later you have $1 million into this magic box, does it matter what the magic box is called? That's when I finally spoke up and I said, yeah, if it's called universal life. He's like, we've got to get going, because I had the knowledge. He can't sell me on anything. Correct. You don't at all. They got it. Insurance companies didn't become rich by being stupid. It's the knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, see, they have knowledge you don't have, they get to use it. Is life insurance important? Yes. Should you get what you need? Yes. Should you pay as little as possible? Yes. But they took it and perverted it and said, we're going to do all this other stuff, build huge companies. Put a whole bunch of advertising out there to make you think it's an awesome company. See, you've seen the Northwest Mutual commercials and the New York Life commercials. You've seen them all, right? Well, they didn't do it by being stupid. I sell a lot of ING, American General, Genworth. They sell this stuff too, but I sell term for them. I don't sell. Now, like I said, nothing's all good and nothing's all evil, right? So think about this. Why would they sell? I'm going to go through. Yeah. Here's why a person would get a universal life policy. Here's the only reason. If you're making $250,000 a year in your salary, all right, not from other sources, your salary. You work at a place where you're getting paid $250,000 a year or more a year. They can't use IRAs and other stuff the same way. So they use that as an investment, not as life insurance. They use it to hide money in taxes, not as life insurance. Only reason. Okay? Again, let me go back to this, selling it to you. If I walk to you and I say, I'm going to sell you this universal life policy, this is what the rich use. You're going to go, I want to be rich. This is what the rich use. I'm going to buy it. They didn't explain to you, you're not supposed to be getting it at that. Same thing that happened with the mortgages, because there were interest-only loans and all this. That's great for a person who's investing in the property, not for the person living in the property. And they started selling it to the people who are living in the properties, and then people lost their houses. They start selling it to the wrong people, and they were taken advantage of. Here's a reason to have a whole life policy. You're 60, 70 years old. You have not put away any money at all. Okay? You got nothing saved, right? You got to get a whole life policy at that point, because you can't get a term policy at that point. You have to, and you can, because a term policy isn't going to get low enough for it to be affordable, right? So you get $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 worth of coverage just to cover you for burial expenses. That's it at that time. The premium's still going to be higher, but they won't make a term policy that low. Those are the two only reasons to get the other stuff. That's it. Other than that, 90 to 95% of people need a term policy. Y'all learned something today? What questions y'all have? Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. That's fine. We have it each week. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, yes. What you'll be doing first of all is learning this stuff. Later, if you want to make it a business, you wouldn't even be selling any of that stuff for a while. I actually take care of all of it for you, because it's not fair to you to try and sell stuff as you're learning yourself. But correct, you got to get a state license to be able to do it. So, but first you learn for yourself. Then you say, if you want to make it a business, you actually introduce me to other people, and I'll take care of it all from there. Mm-hmm. Right. The problem with our society is not everybody wants to be saved. So all you can really do is put out the truth and facts out there, and then let them do whatever they're going to do with the information. So, but as far as this is concerned, I've seen more people get ripped off, get separated from their money with life insurance than anything else out there. I want people to get covered. I want them to pay as little as possible, and I want them to put their money in other sources to actually watch it grow versus make the insurance company more money, because they got enough. So, any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Higher, correct, correct, correct. That's true. Yes, they're basing it. It was called actuaries. They're basing it on the likelihood. Actuaries are the people who decide how much life insurance really should cost. About the cost of it should be. They know how many people are going to die in Virginia every year. They just don't know who they are. They know the approximate number of people are going to die in Virginia. So if you're a smoker, you put yourself as a higher risk. And I'll give you the smoking speech I give to everybody. Stop smoking. Because there's if a life insurance company says you're at a higher risk because you're smoking, they're saying you are putting yourself at risk to die. Now, I say that as a guy who had a lot of speeding tickets. I'd never had an accident, but a lot of speeding tickets. I was originally rated higher for my speeding tickets. You know why? I put myself at risk to die. Correct. So I said that whole smoking, I was like, well, if smokers are rated here and I've been rated up here because I've not gotten a ticket since. Since I got my life insurance, I've not gotten a ticket since. So then I went back to them and said, hey, lower my policy, and they lowered it because I was originally paying about $100. They lowered to $50. because in 5 years at that time, I hadn't got any tickets, so they lowered my policy. You stop smoking, they'll lower your policy. They can only make changes based on your health or your risk. They can't make changes based on your ethnicity. By the way, women always pay less than guys because y'all live longer, except for one company which has it the same price. I won't say the name of that company, Primerica. They have the same price because I don't know why. Because women should always pay less than guys. Y'all live longer. If you ever heard that if you bundle, have y'all seen I think it's Nationwide commercial. If you bundle your home and auto together, you'll get a discount. And then they'll go, hey, we also offer life insurance. You can't bundle life, home, and auto. You know why? They're different licenses. If you bundle that and you give them a discount, it's called rebating, and they could lose their license for doing it. See, they say, but you got to see how they say it, though. They'll go, we offer blah, 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 and if you bundle certain coverages, we'll give you a discount. They can only bundle homeowners and car insurance. They can't bundle life. I've had a conversation with State Farm before, and they said, well, you're getting a discount for, I said, really? Is that what you're saying? She's getting a discount for well, hold on. No, you're not getting a discount for the life insurance. Oh, okay, because I'd love to hear that on tape, because I'd have a conversation with State Farm, the big guys, because you can't give a discount for life insurance. You can only give a discount for homeowners. And so, yeah, the guy on the phone, sorry, it was a lady I was with, but the guy on the phone was like, well, we're giving you a discount for the life insurance. You are? Please say that loud. Please. Wait, hold on a second. No, we're not giving you a discount for that. That's right. You're not. So he was threatening her that if she changed her life insurance, that her homeowners and her car insurance would go up. And it won't, because it has nothing to do with the life insurance. It's a different license altogether. Any other questions at all? Y'all ready to go? Is that what it is? I don't know. Mm-hmm. There's some of them that you don't have to do a physical. And that is true. There's some companies that won't have to do a physical. They do cost more because they know if you're not going to do a physical, there's maybe a reason behind it, so they normally cost a little bit more. Mm-hmm. 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 All right. Here's a couple other secrets. As long as you pay it for 1 year, the agent gets paid. That's all they care about. If you're paying it for 1 year, the agent gets paid. If you drop it within that first year, they get what's called a chargeback. So they want to make sure you keep it for a year, right? The life insurance company wants to make sure you keep it 2 years. Here's why. At the first 2 years is when they actually make their money back. And it's when they can dispute the fact that you have life insurance. So if you have life insurance and 3 months later you pass away, they can dispute it. They normally will pay it out if everything's legit, but they can dispute it. They can see what's going on. You say, I'm not a smoker, and then you die of lung cancer. Then they go, whoa, 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 and they check it. You die 3 months, 3 months, 6 months, within that first 2 years, you die of lung cancer. Then they go, hold on, and they can check that you were a smoker because you have nicotine all in your lungs. Then they would say, okay, if we had known this, we would have made her pay this. But because she only paid this, we're going to lower how much they're paying out to you. Okay, so you'll still be covered, but they'll pay. Let's say they cover you for $250, they go back and go, it's $100,000. As a matter of fact, it's called that 2 years is called a suicide clause. If you commit suicide after 2 years, life insurance will pay out. If you commit suicide in 2 years and a day, life insurance paid out, and that normally surprises us. Every time I teach a life insurance class to people getting licensed, that one blows them. Like, what? You get it? Yes. It's the first 2 years. After, if you're a smoker and you die 3 years later, nothing they can do. If you're a smoker and you get covered and you walk in smoking the policy, there's nothing they can do. Once they've said they're going to cover you, for the first 2 years, there's only time they can even say anything different to you. After 2 years, but yeah. So I actually again, I tell you these stories because these people, everybody's crazy. I sit down with somebody and she says, you know what, I'm trying to find a way, because our life's so horrible. Life is so bad. And I have this life insurance, and I'm trying to find a way to will myself to die so that my family can have the life insurance. I'm like, awesome. Hold on a second. Oh, you've had this for 10 years. Yeah. You can kill yourself tomorrow. Just go and kill yourself. Because it's covered. It's 2 years and you're covered. Go kill yourself. Go. So, what? Yeah, and I read it to her. It says 2 years suicide clause. You've been 10 years. You can go kill yourself. No need. Your family's taken care of. They'll get their $50,000. Go ahead. Go kill yourself. It's like, so that was an act. Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to will myself to death. You don't have to. Take the knife. Make make sure you cut this way, okay? Because this way's for attention. This way's to actually have. Make sure you do this way. And she's like, oh, well, see, she didn't know it. I knew it, and I can explain it to her. Mm-hmm. Your suicide won't cover it. Mm-hmm. After 2 years, they figure if you plan your suicide 3 years in advance, you deserve the money. But so that she snapped out like right. She couldn't be. Oh my, it's so horrible. I'm like, well, I got your way out of it. So she's been pretty happy for it. She's a student today, so I won't say who she is. But it snapped her out of it because I had knowledge she didn't have. I was able to use it against her, and she go, oh, well, wait a minute. No more woe is me. But yeah, most people don't realize. They think, if you commit suicide, it won't pay out. 2 years, it'll pay out. So don't mean you go planning to commit suicide. But your original question, they'll base it on your risk, on your health and your risk. So if you're a risky person doing risky things, you have a higher premium. If if you have bad health, you'll have a higher premium. But you always have to balance that on. There's certain things you can do. People think they won't be covered. You make it covered. You may have a higher premium. You just adjust to make sure you can afford it and you have your family covered, and then you change it. I've got diabetes. Okay. Probably you can lose some weight. You can eat right. Diabetes go away, and then your coverage is less. Oh, I have a hangnail, and then I can't get covered. I mean, I've heard some things. I stubbed my toe when I was in third grade. And I ain't been walking right. So it has nothing to do with life insurance. But it's so confusing, and people think they know about it, and you come in here and they learn some stuff. They go, oh, that makes more sense. So, all right. Anything else? I appreciate it. I hope y'all learned a lot today, and we'll answer any questions for you.